What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, here with my Seiko SRP641 Baby Tuna, a watch I absolutely love. Now, we're going to spend some time with this watch today talking about how I clean it after taking it to the beach. That's right, this is a topic that a lot of watch enthusiasts complain about, but I haven't really seen another episode about how to clean the watch, and it's actually incredibly easy. But I took a picture of this watch with me at the beach, and people were like astounded that I wear my watches in the ocean with the salt water and the sand, and oh my god, it's such a hectic process, it's going to destroy your watch. Well, this watch is the Baby Tuna. It's literally made to go diving, and I was not diving that deep. I was just kind of casually swimming in the ocean. But it's true, I get the headache. When you're in the water, okay, the salt water with all the sand and sediment, it tends to bind up your timing bezel, and even this one doesn't want to move that easily. Okay, that is an issue, but it makes sense. Okay, the salt water is not totally clean. That salt, that sediment, that sand is getting up in the nooks and crannies, and yeah, it's gonna bind up your watch a little bit. But cleaning it, very, very simple, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. It is 5 p.m. on the button. Let's get down to business. So as we get a little closer to this watch's crystal and bezel, you can see some kind of residual salt water dried up there, and it's really not a big deal. It's not really going to hurt your watch, but I understand why it's kind of annoying when that bezel is kind of, I don't know, it feels kind of gross and gritty. How do you get rid of that, and how do you clean up the watch? Well, it's a lot simpler than you think. Let's go ahead and make our way to a sink. Why not? By the way, just a beautiful, beautiful watch. Look at those indexes, how they just pop off that dial. You know what, let's get a little closer actually. Man, am I allowed to brag here for a moment? Seriously, one of the most underrated Seiko divers ever. That matte black just works perfectly with those tasteful gold tones, big bold indexes, a ton of lume, very visible, very legible. I absolutely love this watch. This is one of these watches that I own. Every time I wear it, every time I look at it, I'm just like, you know what, maybe I can make one more episode about this watch. And then I put it away for a little while, and then, you know, I'll come back and I'll wear it, and then I'll be like, you know what, maybe I can just make one more episode bragging about this watch. And yeah, it's just a vicious cycle. But anyway, let's clean up this crystal and this dang bezel. Let's make it so there's no more sand in this biatch. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but I just did. So there. All right, let's go. All right, so for the first time ever, I'm here filming at my kitchen sink. And guys, it goes without saying, before we do any of these things, make sure your watch's crown is nice, closed, and threaded up all the way. But of course, you probably already know that, or you wouldn't have taken it to the beach in the first place. Anyway, let's go. The first step to cleaning all the gunk, all the sand and everything out of your watch's bezel is just run it under your sink for a little while, okay? And you can try working your bezel, or you don't have to, but let me just show you. You're gonna just rinse it off first, okay? Alright guys, so running your watch under the faucet, that's probably pretty straightforward. Like, I probably wouldn't have even had to make an episode about that if that's where I was gonna stop. Nah, okay, here's the real meat and potatoes. What you're going to do after running your watch under the faucet is take a glass or a bowl of water, and you're going to submerge your watch dial down, okay? So dial down because you obviously want gravity to help out, and that's going to allow all the sediment to just kind of fall out of the nooks and crannies, especially from within this shroud that this Baby Tuna has. And yeah, overnight we're gonna let this go, and come morning we will see a bunch of sand and maybe a few little sea creatures in there. Hope not, but definitely some sand. So let's go ahead and do that. There it is, just chilling, just marinating my baby tuna. Shout out to Barton, actually, for sending me their canvas straps. Yeah, they handled the salt water just fine, and I'm sure this is gonna clean it off as well. So very excited, but yeah, thanks Barton. All right, guys, it has been exactly 1 day, and I'm super excited because even from here with my naked eye, I can see a bunch of dirt and sediment inside that bowl. And yeah, it's just amazing when things work the way they should. Now, I'm assuming at least some of that grime has come off of the strap because, again, this is a canvas strap, so it was probably holding on to some salt and some dirt. But I'm hoping that if I did this properly, at least some of that fell out of the bezel and the shroud, and if we did it properly, and if my little system here works, the bezel should be a lot more mobile and a lot easier to actuate. See, look at all that gross dirt. We're gonna close up on this. We're gonna get a close up because that is just really cool. See, the water's kind of moving around, I apologize, but you can see all that dirt that came from the watch. And again, you weren't able to see that initially on the watch. So I'm assuming, of course, yeah, probably some of it came from the strap, but again, I'm assuming some of it came from the bezel, but let's test it out. Let's see if it's easier to use. Okay guys, moment of truth. If you recall at the beginning of the episode, the bezel did not want to budge. It was just really, really binding there with all the sand and salt. But enough talking, let's see if this is actually working. Oh man. Silky smooth once again. Look at that, no issues at all. Guys, I am very happy when things work the way they should. And see guys, don't be intimidated. You can use these watches in the ocean. You can take them to the beach. There's no problem whatsoever. And it's actually, more often than not, very easy to clean. So super easy. The bezel is just like it was out of the box. I'm sure there's probably some sand still somewhere on the watch, but for the most part, there was a ton in that bowl. So I'm very, very, very satisfied here. Again, very easy to actuate once again. Look at that. Very simple. The watch is nice and clean. I'm gonna go ahead and dry it off. I might take the strap off and maybe just let it dry out away from the watch, or I might just let it dry out on the watch. Big deal. This is a tough watch. I don't baby these things, and neither should you. Well guys, if you enjoyed this episode, if it helped you out at all, if you learned something new, please consider supporting the channel by hitting that subscribe button. And yeah, check out all the links in the description below, become a channel member, and check out my personal website, www.thetimetellershop.com. I really enjoy these short little how-to episodes. If you have any more questions on things like this, I would love to make more of this kind of content. So please leave me a suggestion in the comment section and I will see you there. All right guys, take care. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time, I just tell it.